Oh my dog. Dog. Oh my dog.
Oh my dog, hey!
Oh my dog, hello.
We're back!
Back again.
And Holly's gonna get real jazzed up. She's low energy now, but by the time we get out of this thing, we're gonna be zooming to the stars.
You're right. You know, it's important to point out that we actually do have lives outside of this.
We've had exhausting weeks, and not to mention all of the dogs that we've taken in and adopted out, which we're gonna talk about first. But we have jobs and lives and commitments and families and all the things.
Yeah.
So.
And this is my favorite time of year. I will never complain about how hot it is because I love
me
summertime.
neither. I'm a heat monster.
But this is the time of year where everything comes at once. Like the yard needs mowed, the weeds are in the garden, the tomatoes need picked, green beans need canned, you know.
I hate it when my green
dogs
beans need
rescue. Dogs need rescued.
It's the dogs need rescued that really takes
We got
it out
fair
of this.
coming up.
That's right.
Rocking and rolling on that.
Yeah. We're going to talk about some stuff about the fair here because when this comes out, the fair is next week. So that's wild. The summer has flown by.
And rescue flows seasonally too.
Yeah.
You know, summer is busy time.
Peak.
People are adopting. People are surrendering. You know, it'll fall off the face here pretty quick.
Right after school lets out and then right around the 4th of July, we get a huge dip in adoptions. Like not a lot of people adopting because they have somewhere to be. They don't want to
Going on vacation.
Yeah, which is fine. You want to time it right for you and your family, but it's all seasonal.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, what have we done in the last 2 weeks?
Every time I say this, we come record every 2 weeks, and I'm like, where, what, how, is
What
it
happened?
time already?
Yeah.
I feel like we were just here yesterday.
Yeah, it went quickly.
We've had 24 intakes in
2
14
weeks.
days.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I'm tired.
We're
girls.
insane.
We are insane.
That's fine. That everybody already knew that. Okay. Who were
Let's
these groups?
dive deep in. Okay, so the first
8 of these is the Shih Tzu Bashan group.
Yeah, so we got a call from someone. They said, we had a whoopsie litter of Bichons. We have 4. Can you take them? Sure. There was a lot of ghosting in between. It took for freaking ever. And then there was an emergency. It's like, you got to be there tomorrow.
Right.
And we're like,
That's not always the way.
Okay. And then we got there, or we prepared to get there, and we found out there was going to be 5 Bichons and 3 Shih Tzus all in that group. So we had 8 that came in.
Yeah, it was originally 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was
okay.
8.
3 or 4. Yeah. Yeah. So those are all adopted out already.
Right. Well,
because they were cute.
If you saw any of the pictures,
they were adorable. I set up a little playpen in my front lawn, and I waited for the transporter to come. And because I hate to have to bring the dogs into my house, get them all decompressed, and then take them right back out again to their fosters, I love when I can have the transport meet the foster pickup. Works great. We love it in efficiency, right? And efficiency, not inefficiency. So I told the fosters, it's first come, first serve. I'm not holding any dog for anybody. You don't tell me if you want a boy or a girl. You don't tell me if you want a Bichon or a Shih Tzu. If you get here first, you get what you get. Okay? So they were lined up around the block. And I had...
My Bichon's bringing all the boys to the yard.
They did, but they were girls because boys don't line up for that type of shit.
Hey, we are primarily female run rescue.
Yes.
But we love our grumpy husbands too.
Yeah. But anyhow, I set up this pen and we're dropping the puppies in one at a time, and my daughter comes out of the house and they drop this little Shih Tzu in that is like the size of my fist and like so fluffy and cute.
Much.
And I gasp. I usually, like, a cute dog doesn't really do much to me anymore. You know, you've seen so many of them, but I gasped. This dog was so cute.
Seen one, you've seen them all.
Seen them all. And I have a very cute Shih Tzu. You all have seen her on the podcast. But this was next level. And I saw them coming from their cars. It was like the walkers in the night, like they're coming from the cars to come get the puppies. And this little puppy's sitting there looking at me. I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, what do I do with my hands? I don't know what to do with my hands. So my hands reached down, picked up the puppy, turned around, and I said, Cam, take it inside. And she takes the puppy and she goes, oh, and I go, inside now, put it in the bathroom. There has to be some perks of owning a rescue, okay? And those perks are hand-picking puppies for people that I love. So my aunt and uncle had lost their little Maltipoo several years ago, and I didn't think they would ever get another dog, but my aunt finally told my uncle in their retirement, if you want another dog, I don't care, do what you want. So I've been texting my uncle random dogs that we've had, and none of them have really been the one.
Tripped his trigger?
No. But this one, we get it inside and
I check for a pulse if this one didn't.
Yeah, this is the cutest dog I've ever seen in my life. So this one, I sent him a picture and I said, listen, you have until Monday to tell me that this is your dog and I'll see you soon, because obviously this is the one. And his name is Ranch, the dog, not my uncle. And he is just adorable. So they came on Saturday, picked him up. We went to lunch. Ranch came with us, and he sat outside on the patio.
Little cider ranch.
Yeah, he was just so sweet.
Here's the real question, though. Did they keep the name?
Yes.
No.
Cam said that if they didn't keep the name, she would never speak to them again, and so it was guilted.
Okay, so now you need to get them a sidekick dog and call it like
I don't know.
Ketchup, mustard.
I don't know. Well, the reason it got its name
of condiments.
Ranch, I was trying to think of a cute name, and for some reason I looked at that dog and I thought that looks like a celery, like that's a cute dog. And my Cam was like, no. I said, well, what if we called it Celery Ranch, like it had a last name, And she goes, how about just Ranch? So then
Cam is at that age where she's so unenthused with you.
Yeah, she does not find me entertaining. So that was great, and I said I agreed. I said that's actually a really great name. But something happened while this dog was at our house for a week and a half, waiting for my uncle and aunt to come. Every time it would walk by, we couldn't just say like, "Oh, hi, Ranch. How are you doing?" It was like, "How are you doing, Ranch?" That's how we had to say the name. And every time we said its name, it was like, "Ranch, what are you doing?" Like in an awful, like terrible voice. And now that's what the dog answers to. So not only did they get stuck with a weird dog name, they have to now
say it in a certain tone.
Ranch.
Jesus.
Okay, sorry. I really digressed there, but good gravy.
It really needs to be somebody's ringtone. Ranch.
Ranch. Ranch.
It really is the cutest dog. I had the privilege of meeting that dog.
Oh, gosh. An outrage.
Thursday.
True outrage. I didn't even post it online or anything until it was adopted because I knew I'd get bombarded.
Mm-hmm. So that was 8 of the 24.
Yes.
Hazel Bean
is a chocolate
That
lab.
was the one that got left on one of our foster's porches.
Yeah. Tied up on the porch.
Like, who does that? Seriously.
A-holes.
Trixie Lou, that was another in and out. And then we have...
What was Trixie Lou?
Remember this was Natasha's?
Oh, this is an under the table situation. I got it. Another lab.
How many times have we asked, who the fuck is Trixie this week?
It's because neither one of us have physically seen this dog.
When we first started this rescue, I tried to keep up with all the names, and I was doing pretty good there for a while, and then it just started getting a little crazy, and I was like, all right, let it go, you're fine. It's a lot of dogs, you can't expect you to remember all those. But now I'm at the point where I'm like, we have who is this? Which one?
I've never
Where'd
even
it come
seen
from?
This dog.
Who has it?
We just pay the bills, ma'am.
And I'm like, okay. Oh, thank dog for all of our experienced fosters.
Well, and
now they're starting to foster the fosters, which is awesome.
It's so nice. So we'll talk soon about this really big group that came in that Holly headed up all of the organizing up for and did a great job. But it has been an insane group message situation.
Oh my God.
And we've been really thankful that our OG fosters are helping the new fosters to navigate what happens next.
Yes.
So that's been really great.
Yes. We love our fosters. We love our newbies.
Yeah.
We love our group chats. It just sometimes you can't remember if you've answered this question or not.
No.
Or who you've told the answer to.
I don't know.
And you're like, who am I? What day is this?
It's crazy. I mean, when we first started this, and it was relatively slow, and I've said this before, we would get an average of 1,000 messages, calls, emails a day.
Oh, it's gotta be.
It's more than that now, by far.
And I did a home visit with a new foster last week as well, last Thursday.
Yeah. Did you give her the disclaimer?
Yes, I did, because I gave her the dark humor disclaimer. I gave her the,
we don't beat round no bushes.
Inappropriate language disclaimer, all of that business. And then at the very end, I said, now listen, we get a lot of notifications a day, and we are very direct and to the point. We're not trying to be like short or, what's the word for it? There's a word for it.
Well, we just don't have time for any pleasantries anymore.
Yeah. And it's not that we're not pleasant, although that's debatable too. We just, you ask a question, I'm going to give you an answer. Like, next.
Yeah.
Because there's literally a line.
Yeah.
If you're not watching on YouTube, they both looked at me when they said, it's debatable about not pleasant. Sitting there going, I should stay quiet.
Yeah. You should say, oh no.
And yet here you are.
These two are the most pleasant women I have ever met outside of my wife and children.
So to all of our fosters and anybody that's trying to reach us, if we haven't got back to you in 2.5 minutes,
calm down.
Apologies.
No, just calm down. So we ended up changing our phone number to be a number that both Holly and I can answer throughout the day, which has been really helpful because it was just my cell phone number for a long time. And
then I would know what the hell's going on.
I know. And I'm like, why didn't we do this from the beginning?
It was quite nice.
Yeah.
Well,
welcome.
Why we switched.
Yeah. Welcome. So, but I made a message on our voicemail that says, if this is not an emergency, send us an email, because that's the only way we can keep our lives organized, to go back and be able to look at it.
Right.
I got a voicemail today that said, I applied for a dog, and I'm getting really frustrated because no one's got back to me. Like, it had been a few days, and she put the wrong email address in her application. So obviously no one got back to her because she can't type. She was so mean. I'm like, ma'am. And also, that's not an emergency. Did you not listen to the message?
You're really good at following directions.
Send an email. My dog. And she didn't send an email because I don't think she has a working email.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Before we do the 11, Mazikeen?
Yeah, Mazikeen is, so that's from that show on Netflix, Lucifer. Mazikeen is one of the characters on there. And this was...
I'm rewatching Golden Girls for the literally 17th time.
Lucifer's pretty legit. I dropped off. I watched a few episodes, but anyway. I kept the name that it had originally because it was weird enough that I thought it kind of fit our vibe.
Do they have a likeness, or is this just
just
a name?
It did bite the foster when it arrived, so... devilish.
That seems on par.
It's a cute little Chihuahua Shih Tzu, and it is actually quite pleasant. It just kind of got frightened. So anyway, that one is off to foster and doing well. Yeah.
Good. And Leia?
Leia was a returned dog. She is a just over a year old white German Shepherd mix. Looks a lot like YB Coyote that we just had, but a female. Very good dog.
We're still kind of perplexed on why she was returned, because the owner has gone to great lengths.
They took this dog.
I should say.
Yeah, they took this dog to our trainer that we recommend.
Yeah. Doing great.
Doing excellent. Knows all the general commands. They brought me quite literally 4 stuffed totes of toys and harnesses and
shoes.
It had like 6 sets of shoes.
This girl's got more shoes than I do.
I was like, what? This is a German Shepherd. Doesn't he need shoes? Like, what in the world? This dog needed a job, not a shopping problem. But anyway, lovely people, but they were I'm perplexed as to why they brought the dog back. She broke her foot.
Yeah, I was going to say, she had an injury and she's
broke
recovering.
Her foot. But I've never thought about giving up my dog because I broke a bone, but, whatever.
Yeah, I don't.
It's fine. They did right by the dog while they had it, and they also did the right thing by calling us when they were ready to return it back, and now she is all ready to roll. She's been through training. She's lived in a house. She's doing great with the her foster dog sibling at her new home, and we have a new foster out of it who has been a supporter for a long time but just jumped into fostering.
Oh, I love Allie. Yeah,
she's wonderful. So I think those are all the one-offs outside of
Luna. Who's Luna?
Oh, Luna's new. She is a lab pit bull mix, very cute, about 3 years old, but is living out on like a horse farm and is not doing great around the livestock. Is pretty overstimulated. And so the owner has asked to relinquish the dog, and she's a beautiful girl, really nice dog, striking, but she, so she's ready to roll very soon. We got to get her in a vet visit, and then she's ready to go. But,
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, and then we've got this 11 golden doodle. Well, are they golden doodles?
Well,
do we even know? Do we care?
I don't care. They're some sort of doodle, but they're really unique looking because a lot of them are like merle and speckly and black and white and all different sizes.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that when we get further into our episode. But yes, 11 doodles came in all at once. So,
whew. If you're looking for a doodle and you want to rescue, now is your time.
Tee it up.
They're ready.
Now, for adoptions, we took in 24 and we adopted out 21. So that's 45 dogs in and out, one way or the other in 2 weeks. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
It's crazy, girl.
It's really crazy. I sat down on Sunday to do all of the updating of the spreadsheet and stuff, and I thought, I'll just work on this for about 30 minutes, and then it was like midnight, and I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here.
I gotta bounce.
Yeah.
Sissy finally got adopted. She's been with us for a hot minute.
She is, and she went to a nice young lady of age 90-something. So senior dog for a senior human, and I think they're just going to be completely perfect together. The most spry, active 90-something-year-old lady I have ever met in my life. She drives.
You know what?
She goes on walks. Are these old?
No, I apologize. That's my bad. Sissy got... We talked about Sissy last
already?
time.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about her again.
It was because the date. Yes, I included.
All right.
My bad.
You've heard me say this before, but
I was gonna
Sissy's
say,
still doing well.
This all sounds very familiar.
Do we want to cut that out?
No, it's fine.
All right.
We all make mistakes.
You can listen. Just you, really.
Okay, Haven.
Stop it. Somebody asked me, they're like, so what is her name? And I'm like, I still don't know. Well, anyway, update. Sissy's still doing good. So, hey.
Zeppelin, which is Gravy. Jackson.
Which is Jackson. It had 4 names. But it's the dog that came in with the nails in his gut.
Yep. Norman. Oh, that little dog. So Melissa, our foster up in Story County, fostered Norman, and he was on a youth list out of Wichita. They sent over all these pictures, and I'm like, he was amongst others. I'm like, I don't think we'd find a spot for him. He's older. He had some skin issues.
Crusty AF.
He kind of looked a little, 1 foot in and 1 foot on a banana peel kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Melissa's like, that one. I want that one. And I'm like, I love you.
She loves the oldies. She's got a really old pug, which I, of course, love. And, yeah.
Oh, what a great name, too. She named him Norman. I just love that. For some reason, it just really sat with me. But the best thing about Norman is his adoption photo with that lady. Will you please post it with this episode?
Yes. Well, it's on Facebook, but I will post it on our Instagram at the same time this episode comes out. Her smile could not have been any bigger.
It just illuminates. You just have to look at it.
You would have thought that she was sitting there with Ranch, the cutest puppy you've ever seen in your whole life, but no, she was sitting there with Norman, the crustiest old Chihuahua you ever did see, and I get it. I love a crusty old man, but she really was excited, and it was so sweet.
She just looks so wholesome. I really want to meet this lady, honestly.
I know. She looks perfect.
Well, we have her address, so.
Don't
we're
worry.
just here to do a welfare check on Norman.
Norman's mom, are you home?
She looks like somebody that would have, biscuits on at all times.
Yeah, she's ready to make us a breakfast for dinner situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Beulah,
we also thought There was touch and go for a while.
Yeah, but she really, because she was in she was in a foster home with Emily. Didn't do great. And then we boarded her for a few days over the 4th of July.
Yep.
And then she went to Natasha's. And
she just
that
needed some
just
labs.
goes to show you a dog in the wrong. And Emily, I don't mean wrong that you were wrong. I just mean in the not right home.
Right.
Versus the proper environment for that dog. She just thrived with Natasha.
It was crazy because the funny thing is we've sent dogs to Emily that have not thrived other places and have thrived with her.
Oh, yeah.
But Beulah
absolutely.
just wasn't a right fit for her home and her lifestyle. She works a lot and Beulah needed a little more attention. And all the labs at Natasha's house, Beulah was just like, oh, hell yeah.
I'm part of the pack.
This is it. And then she found a wonderful home that had an equally happy adoption photo. That gal looked super jazzed.
Yeah.
And Beulah smiled.
I'm glad Beulah made it out of here because we were
worried for a minute.
For a minute.
Yeah.
Scrappy, Goomba.
So Boxer, Scruffle.
Goomba took a hot minute too. I know Tracy and Johnny were.
Well, no, not really because Buzz and Goomba came in together and Buzz took longer. Goomba went relatively quickly. But he was.
That was fun.
I didn't name this dog Buzz, but.
Hippo.
Yep.
Oh, is that your
my
bartender?
Yep.
I like how we call him your bartender.
He is my bartender. I got a picture of Hippo tonight at Paws and Pints, and he is playing in the ice, and they took a picture while he was shaking his head, and I'll post this as well.
Oh, my God.
So his mouth's all jacked up, like, wow.
You need to put a cigar in that. You need to Photoshop that and put a cigar in there. like the poker.
Yes,
the poker
he
picture.
looks just like that dog. Yeah, so he's getting used to being around other dogs, learning different dogs' play styles, because he's like an intense play dog, and so sometimes he like needs correction, but he's doing pretty well.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Magic was a foster fail with Holly.
Yes.
Not this Holly.
No.
The other Holly. I have not foster failed yet. I just would like to point that out.
You haven't?
No.
Not with our
The last one I adopted
technically
was
you
Reese.
did too. That was in our rescue. That's a failure.
This is getting real technical.
It's in my spreadsheet, Mom. It's in my spreadsheet. It was a failure, and I'm going to take it.
Fine. She's the best failure ever then.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Pookie.
Pookie is one of the Bichons, and she was a foster failure. And actually, we're missing... Oh, no, I just need to scroll.
Poopsie.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Pookie was a Shih Tzu that came from that breeder that we're helping to...
I was going to say, I think you're talking Poopsie. Yeah.
I was. Pookie, Poopsie, whatever.
Pretty close together there, foster gang. Ivy Rose, Oliver Wolfgang, Bosley.
Bosley was cute.
Another great name.
Yeah. A little Chihuahua Pomeranian. Gosh,
he was
darn
cute.
it. He was cute.
Speaking of dogs finding their right home, Beans.
Beans. He was returned because he really just didn't like the dad in the home. And we talked about that. And I don't know why he didn't like him. He's
having
a nice
trouble
guy.
potty training too. But Beans is like freaking old as dirt.
He's an old man. And of course he's got
And he's a breeder release.
breeder release.
So
he doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
But there was a lady who had applied for Beans originally.
Right.
And she saw the day that I posted him. She was like, hey, is he okay? What's going on? You know, I'm like, well, you know, here's what happened. Here's the problems that they had, whatever. She was there the next day.
I love that.
And she's like, been waiting for this dog. And I think he's doing great.
I used to worry a lot more about where these dogs are going. Are our fosters doing due diligence? Are they making sure they're going? Are we adopting them out too soon? You know, blah, 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 blah. But, and I still worry about those things. But
I know
less that dogs will find their way into the right spot.
And the thing of it is, so far, we've had the luxury of being able to say yes every time a dog did need to come back to us. There will maybe come a day where we are going to be so in deep to this that if a dog comes back, we're going to be like, hey, sorry, we have 100 dogs in foster. We can't take everyone back. But we've always been able to do that. We've never had to turn anybody away.
So,
dang it, now I'm going to have to slice the video.
Fuck, sorry. Sorry, dude.
Okay.
Benny Rodriguez.
Benny was another of the Bichons.
Bambi
was a Bichon. Charlie, Poopsie, Bun, Marceline, all Bichons. And then Princess Bubblegum actually got adopted by... I'm thrilled. So when I had Cam, I got pregnant at 19, had her at 20, and I was never meant to mother a human infant. It was not good. I was not meant to do it, but I knew where to ask for help. And I met this young lady who worked for a daycare that I took her to, and we became fast friends, but also she helped me make sure my baby didn't die, so that was cool.
Oh, thank dog.
Yeah.
What would we do without Cam?
I don't know what we would do without Cam, but she has known Cam since she was weeks old and helped me raise her until we moved away from there. And she's been talking to me a little bit because she has one dog that's getting older and a little dog that had passed away, and so she's been kind of looking.
Oh, good.
And they have, again, don't be offended when I can't remember the number of children you have, but she's got 3 or 4 small children. And she sends me videos and pictures of them. Yeah. Videos and pictures of them playing with little Princess Bubblegum, who is like the sister to Ranch. So obviously she's very cute and they're doing great. So anyway, that was a special one for me to be able to give her back that dog.
Every time I order a side of Ranch now, that's all I'm going to hear.
Ranch.
Okay. Well, that's all the ins and outs, folks.
Oh,
It's been a doozy.
That took a long time because it was a long time of our last 2 weeks. Good gravy.
Man.
And the preparation for all of those doodles that came in took days and days, and Holly had it all organized by the time that they came. But tell a little bit about what happened and how we ended up with all these doodles, please.
Right. Okay. So a lot of our listeners, all of you, will probably...
Tens of you.
will probably recall the breeder that got shut down up in Ogden, Boone County, Paris Puppy Paradise, I believe is what it's...
Awful name, but it does...
registered as.
Yeah.
Anyway, the father and friend of a friend that I went to high school with called me and asked me how the rescue was doing, and I said, oh my gosh, we're so busy, we get calls every day. And he said, well, I have a friend that has some doodles that he would like to donate to your rescue.
Cool.
I was like,
how generous.
what is this, like Goodwill, or what are we doing?
If anything, we have ill will. Okay. There's no goodwill happening here.
This is the OMDDAR.
Oh my God. I didn't know that they said that. That's really funny.
So he says, anyway, he tells me the whole story of the Department of Ag coming in and shutting him down, and
you're like, oh yeah, I know that
I'm
story.
like, oh yeah, the ARL came in and took 100 from him, like what, a month ago?
Yeah, last year I think.
And then they just recently took in 46 more. And when I saw that story on Facebook from the ARL, I'd like to donate to you.
I hope you like listening to Long.
This episode was brought to you by
Laughing gas.
Okay.
Get it together.
I'm not cutting it out. This is awesome.
Oh my God.
It's good to have a good laugh every once in a while.
It is, isn't it? Oh God.
Good Lord.
I
was thinking of all of the different things that people could say they wanted to donate, but really meant I need to get rid of them. And that's what we do with our clothes.
Right?
Hey, take this bag of...
Yeah. Good.
Most people donate like dog food or something.
Yeah.
I want to donate the whole dog.
Not just one dog, but 11.
So anyway, when the ARL posted the story, of course I thought the same thing that everybody else thought. Like, oh my God, this guy is a terrible, awful person. What a monster. How could he do this? And
And it was a guy who
the pictures and all
had
this
been
stuff.
Yes, yeah, it was awful. I mean, there was a lot of dogs crammed
Which-
in there, and he'd been doing this for to make his money for his.
Right. He'd been in business for like 20 some years.
There are dogs that we've taken in who were bought from him, and then they're like, oh yeah, we got these puppies from these 2 dogs together, litter mates from Paris Puppies.
Right.
And I'm like, what is that? And I looked it up, and then all full circle comes around. But they're everywhere. Everybody has a Paris Puppy Doodle, it feels like.
Yeah. And when I go to the vet's office, well, right after they took the first 100, I was up at the Boone vet office, as I am all the time. And I had said to them, I said, did you hear about Paris? They're like, yes, finally. And they see so many of his dogs in there with this and that and the other. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
So anyway, fast forward. So I'm talking to this guy. So I said, well, give him my number and
We'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out, I guess.
Yeah.
So he calls me the next day, and he basically says that the ARL has, kind of done him dirty, and that it's not what it was portrayed to be, and so on and so forth and whatever.
That's
I'm
his
taking
story.
all of this with a breeder grain of salt,
Right,
because
like
we have
we
dealt
know.
with so many breeders, and it's, we've seen some really terrible things. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But apparently when they came, he had hidden these dogs, correct?
So
Or
that
am I
was my
wrong?
that was my next question, was like, well, how do you still have these dogs? I thought
They took everybody.
I thought they took everything.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're kind of skipping around, but I said, well, as long as we don't get into any legal, entanglement, we will be happy to help you.
We're
I
not
said,
stepping on any paws at the ARL, okay?
Right. But we had just taken in that group of 8, Bashan, so I said, we cannot do anything until next week.
Yeah.
You were going on vacation.
Yeah.
We just done that. I'm like, no, next week at the earliest. I no longer got off the phone with him, and I got a phone call from the Department of Ag, Doug Anderson, who is the compliance officer for IDALs, and he came and did our inspection back in January. Amazing human being. Love him. He's
Great at what he
very
does.
thorough,
Yeah.
very knowledgeable, very kind, but also knows his stuff.
Yeah.
He calls me, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
What's going to happen?
I'm like, hey, I told him we could help out, but I was very explicit that we don't want to get in between anything. So if we need to step out, just tell me,
Whatever.
He's like, no, everything's fine. If you're able and willing to help, we would be ecstatic for your help. So please, if you can, go ahead. So I said, great. We worked it all out. Well, I got off the phone with him, and then the ARL called me. And I didn't know this. I guess I thought for some reason, like, legally the ARL had to go in and take them. But
No.
I think technically pretty much any rescue, any licensed and compliant rescue could have taken those dogs in. It's just the ARL has
the
the
most
capacity
capacity.
to do those kinds of
Yes.
things, and they're set up to do large intakes like that.
Right. Yeah.
So, anyway, Joel basically said, I'm not going to donate any more dogs to the ARL because they just bashed him in the media.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'd rather give them to a rescue like you if it could help you out. I'm like, wait a minute. Who's helping who here?
Yeah.
What do we do?
Just so we're aware.
Right. Which we'll talk about that
Yes.
in our next episode too.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story long, we got as much information as we could, and got everything as organized as we could, which
Got the troops
at the end of the
rallied.
day, there's no amount of time or organization that would make something like that run 100% flawlessly. It just is not going to happen.
No.
But we had 4 transporters, including myself, show up at the location. The Department of Ag was there on location as well. They oversaw the entire thing.
Which was cool.
Which was great.
Usually we don't have help or backup. We just go in 0 guns a-blazing.
Right. I think they
Well,
were...
Holly's got a gun, as we know, so don't try to mess with us.
I think they were there to make sure that everything happened as it should have, because obviously all of the
He
dogs
was upset, too, right? Like, with all of this happening, he was mad, so you don't want anything bad to happen.
No, and he was very good with us though.
Yeah.
Nobody was angry.
Good
There was
communication
no-
from the breeder,
Yep.
whatever he had done in the past, like
Yeah.
he
Well, this is again with almost every breeder release that we have dealt with, every large intake that we have dealt with, there is somewhere in the story mental health issues.
Oh, yeah.
And what had happened here is his wife had passed several years ago.
Yep.
His new girlfriend, who is a groomer, had some mental health issues, and things just got away from them, and things quickly got out of control. After COVID hit and the COVID hangover, everybody already had a dog, and then litter start piling up, and then you get behind on grooming, and then you get behind on posting them on the website, and you get, it just compounds. And with 150, 160 dogs on premise, that compounding rate is high.
Yeah, that's
like
a mess.
We're building interest daily.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine.
That I can't. So after being there and being on site, I'm still a bit perplexed on where all of these dogs were, because
there weren't a lot of buildings.
I don't know if there was wooded areas, so I don't know if there were more buildings like behind the wooded area.
A lot of times there's kind of hidden ones that are back from the road at puppy mills.
Right.
Yeah, they'll have.
And he's already pretty far off the road, and all
Yeah.
this is public information, so I'm not
You can look him
exposing
up,
anything.
yeah.
But anyway, but when we got there, the facilities were clean. They smelled like a kennel. They smelled like a kennel that had, quite a few dogs in them. It's just that distinct smell. You know what I'm talking about. But the pens were clean. They had blankets for bedding and that kind of thing. They did not do well on collars. They were not... they weren't aggressive. Nobody tried to bite anybody or anything like that, but they were
terrified.
They weren't real keen on having a slip lead put on or a collar put on and being carried out to a vehicle.
Yeah. And there were some that were little.
Yeah,
and
that was the other
no
thing.
big deal. And then there were some that were quite large.
The largest one was like 70, 80 pounds.
Yeah.
Stacy's.
Yeah, that one's big.
No, that's Marissa's.
Oh,
Marissa
okay.
took the mini horse because Stacy already has a mini horse.
Yeah, I was like, that's not very nice that we sent Stacy another mini horse.
They're playing My Little Pony.
You can braid their hair and everything. Yeah, so it's difficult to transport. It's difficult to move. It's difficult to get that dog then into your house, because some of them you can't lift, and so you have to try and walk them in with a couple different leads on. We had like a slip lead, slip collars, and, we'll just be real transparent.
Yeah.
It's freaking hard. And we've had all of the people who help us are all volunteers, maybe not volunteers who are well versed in taking dogs out of breeding facilities and then transporting them. You can't train for that.
No.
We can tell them a million ways to Sunday. You have to put 2 leads on.
Just like
all
we tell
the things.
adopters all the things, and it doesn't happen.
But in the moment, you think, okay, well, this dog seems pretty nice on the way home. I should be able to just walk it into the house on a leash. And of the 11 that we took in the first 24 hours, 4 got away.
Oh, my God.
But of those 4, 3 were caught right away.
Yeah.
One, which was a really dramatic run through my neighborhood. And then the 4th one is still missing. And so we feel really awful about this. We've got posters up everywhere in the neighborhood. We have them posted on every website possible. We've got
all
teams looking for them, social media.
And he has a tag with the foster's information on his collar.
And I think he's dragging a leash unless that came off.
Well, I hope he's still dragging it, because that'll
help us.
Yeah.
But there's been no sightings since we lost him that night. And, we went out. I took Mr. Bojangles out there, because he's a hound dog sniffer. He's never helped me one time catch a dog, but I like to bring him out to make him think that he has a job. And we just didn't get anything.
Yeah.
And
it sounds like we're just like all, cavalier about this, but we're checking in every day, multiple times a day. We're ready at a moment's notice. We've got, nets, and
we're ready. I've got a net on my porch so that when I get the call, I'm going to run and go, but yeah, all the dogs got out of there and made it to their fosters, but the one that did get away, and is still lost, got to the foster home, and then turned and did kind of like a scared nip, and then I think she lost control of the dog at that point, and he was gone. And you can have a dog on 2-3 leads And when that happens and your human instinct goes, oh gosh, and you step back for a second, they're gone. And
Right.
it's fast. And
Right.
there's nothing, somebody posted on one of our missing dog posts, like, how does this happen? I'm like,
I was just going to say that.
get the fork out of here. I can't with well, everybody's doing the best that they can, but like, get, why is that helpful?
And I think we were going to talk about that anyway, about lost dogs. And so we might as well just divert now. So when a lost anything is posted, but let's talk about dogs. When a lost dog is posted and you don't have a sighting or
and you're not helpful,
direct information on the status of this dog,
do not
just
comment.
STFU, okay?
Yeah.
Because your comment creates a notification, which we're all getting, saying, oh my gosh, somebody commented, have they seen him? And we're all checking our phones, and we're all like trying to keep track of, and then you get some freaking Karen coming on there saying, how does this happen? Well, Karen, when was the last time you fostered a breeder release dog?
And when's the last time you pulled 11 dogs that have been completely unsocialized out of a breeding facility to try and start their new lives with a bunch of volunteers who are just doing their best?
Right.
How do you happen? Get off the internet.
Right. It's just
stop.
not helpful.
It's
just,
not.
Just,
So another thing.
And keep in mind that these dogs were, the breeder facility is out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
They're in the country in rural Boone County.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have not heard traffic. They have not heard city noises. They have not.
That's true.
Heard a car door slam or a, radio
And they've
blaring
never
or
seen
anything like
anybody
that.
else except for the two people that were caring for them.
Right.
Ever.
So, they're stressed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're doing our best. So, anyway.
Yeah, the ones that we could transport kennel to door, great. That's perfect. But the bigger ones that you have to try and get in the house, you send them with the foster. We can't go with every single one and help them carry that dog in the house.
Right.
It's just, you do your best, but it is what it is. And so we've got, like I said, we got posters everywhere. So it's got the phone number, and we connected that back to the foster because the foster lives closest to where the dog went missing. So she's most likely to be able to go out and find this dog. Mm-hmm. And she's been amazing, like on foot, running.
And we're all sharing locations on our phone, so we know where everybody's at.
I got a sighting, I can go right to her, But there are so many scammers out there. So I just wanted to call this out because if your dog ever goes missing and you do all the posting on Iowa Pet Alert, Ahein's Missing Mutts, Paw Boost, there's lots of different websites that you post if your dog goes missing, and it's a great network and a great resource. I found a dog. I was dog sitting once, and the dog slipped out of the fence, and I didn't realize it, and I went out there and I was like, where is she? And I found her because I posted her, and she was just a couple houses down. But it happens.
Right.
So anyhow, it happened to me then, the scammer thing. You get a text message that says, I have your dog. And you say, okay, great. Where can I meet you? And they'll say, I'm with the Polk County Police Department. I'm going to send you a code for you to verify who you are. And then that's just our policy. And then you need to come back and send me the code, and then I'll meet you with the dog. And so I'm on a chat because my number was also listed with the foster. They send that message, and she goes, okay, great. And I'm like, no. I jump in and say, if you don't send us a picture of the dog, you can fluff off. I did not use the word fluff. And the foster was like, no, wait, what's going on? They have the dog. And so I did an aside message to her, and I said, hey, you're going to get a few messages like this, but they don't have the dog.
Yeah.
Because what they're trying to do is they'll go to websites that are trying to verify your phone number. So something like Venmo or something like that, where they need a verification code. Mm-hmm. They put in your phone number because they've got it, and then they can start to steal your identity and take things from you. And it is so horrible. And they prey on those missing dog sites, and it's immediate. You get phone calls, you get text messages, and it feels really real. They say, I have your dog. So then I got another one to the both of us that said, I have your dog. And before she knew at that point that what she was looking for in this scam. But I said, the fluff you do, send a picture or send a picture of the dog or get out of here. And they didn't even try to make it work. The first one, they were trying to continue to get more
sending you the same picture that's posted that you posted.
Yeah. Although with AI, you could probably have.
Man, that's really sick.
But yeah, so you got to watch out for that. And I wanted to call that out because I forgot about that had happened to me back when I had that dog sitting dog go missing out the hole in my fence that I didn't know was there. And I fell for it. Not until they asked me for the code, and I was like, oh, no. But I was like, oh, thank goodness, yay.
Right.
And then, nothing. So your heart just goes up and down with all of this crap.
Rude.
It's terrible. Very rude.
Okay, so don't be a Karen and don't respond to people asking for codes.
Yes. But all in all, now that the dogs, except for the one who's one with the wilderness right now, I don't know what he's doing. We're hopeful that he's actually going to, if you live in the area of, what would you call that?
What would that be, like Beaverdale?
So it's about 10 minutes from my house in Urbandale, Beaverdale area, in the Des Moines metro. It could be anywhere at this point, but.
Yeah, it's south of 80.
Kings Park. I don't know. There's a something to call that neighborhood. Yeah. But anyway, if you're in that area, keep an eye out, especially if you have dogs out in the yard, because this dog will go towards other dogs.
Yeah. And he's not neutered, so he's on the prowl.
Yeah, he's sniffing.
He's single and
ready to
mingle.
We hope. So, and we've had dogs go missing before. When you're into hundreds of dogs rescued, that happens, and we've always found everyone except for this one so far. So hopefully,
we still haven't talked about the Schnauzer bounce. We'll have to do that one of these episodes.
Yeah,
because that was another. It just seems to happen in threes,
it
fours,
does.
whatever.
Terrible. But anyhow, so
there was a special request with this breeder release.
Yes, we should talk about that. So occasionally,
Are you supposed to give credit on their donation?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh,
no.
yeah.
A plaque on the wall?
So, yeah. So two things. There was a special request with this, and as you were starting to say, sometimes you have to play the game with these breeders. And you have a breeder that you're working with exclusively on dwindling down her stock and getting her retired permanently.
Yeah.
One of Joel's requests is that he had 3 dogs that he wanted returned to him. And what had actually happened is, so by state law, under IDALS, he can have up to 3 intact dogs, male or female, 3 intact dogs, and that keeps him under the threshold of a commercial breeder. Right. So once you surpass that, then you have to get a commercial breeder license. So he can still do his thing. He just is on a very limited basis.
Right.
After that, he can have as many spayed or neutered dogs as he wants.
Yeah.
He can have 100 spayed or neutered dogs for all they care.
As long as they're cared for, whatever.
That's, yes.
Yeah.
You would think that's obvious, but not really. But he had a deadline with IDALS to get this completed, and he wasn't able to get the 3 dogs that he wanted to keep
into the vet
his vet to be spayed or neutered to hit this deadline, which was like a day later, so understandable. So he requested and understood if we said no, that if we got these 3 spayed or neutered that he wanted back, and he paid for the vet bill if we would return them to him. And at first I was like, no. Yeah. Absolutely fluffing not.
Yeah.
And then I called you and I was like, this is our ultimate goal, is to help breeders retire safely and humanely and be done.
Yeah.
And what better way to get it done and know it's done and done right than to do it yourself?
Yep.
Right? You want something done right, you do it yourself.
Yeah.
So I called Doug with the Department of Ag and asked him, I was like, hey, this is the legit request. Is this okay? Is this legit? I don't want to get... I don't want to put our license at risk. I don't want to get in any legal trouble.
Right.
He's like, no, that's totally fine if you're okay with that. That's fine by us. So one of the dogs that was set to be returned landed with a brand new foster Erin and her husband and 3 children in Perry. And I knew this was going to happen. I freaking knew it. Because when I assigned these dogs, I intentionally assigned one being returned to this newbie because it's like perfect.
They just get to dip their toes.
They just get to dip their toes. All they got to do is get it to the vet, and then they're done. And then they'll be hooked for life, right? Yeah. What do you think actually happened? They fell in love. And they wanted to adopt the dog.
They did.
So she sent me some pictures, and this dog is like, this little breeder mill dog just enjoying a little pup cup and sleeping on the couch with her kids, and he's watching a movie on the iPad and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. So I called Joel and I said, hey, listen, this is a story. The dog is in love with these kids. The kids are even more in love with the dog. It's, toys and pup cups all day long. And would you consider letting them adopt the dog? And he's like, well, let me talk to Sarah, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I sent him some pictures and I laid it on pretty thick. And then the next day I sent him another message saying, another little update. And then he called and said, we think that would be fine.
Yeah, that's good.
So
yeah. So anyway,
3 very happy little children.
The kids are excited. The household is happy, and we're happy, honestly, that we're able to place this dog in a home that we know is going to love it and take good care of it forever. So.
And I think Joel, I do want to say this. I truly think that Joel is a reputable breeder. I think he was doing a good job, and then he wasn't.
Right. So at one point he was. Now, I will challenge you saying reputable breeder because he was breeding doodles. And I don't think that any breeder who's breeding doodles is a reputable breeder because this is not a dog breed that should be perpetuated for its breed standard, right? So to me, if I'm going to purchase a dog from a breeder, which I don't have a problem doing, if it's a breed of dog that I want to get and I know exactly what I want and I want to raise it from a puppy and I want to do all of the things, that's fine. We're a rescue, but we're not opposed. We're not anti-breeder. We're just anti-crappy breeder.
Right.
And I'm kind of anti-mixed breed breeder. So I don't love the Cavachons and I don't love the doodles. Because
you're not breeding for the lineage.
You're breeding for the money.
Right.
So to me, that's not reputable per se. But I think what you're saying is what he was doing up until the point where shit hit the fan.
Right, when it went off the rails.
He was probably trying to do that in the right way, and I think he had his heart in the right place, and he was then, once everything got thrown out there into the news, I mean, his life is ruined. Mm-hmm. Where he's lived and grown up and all of the things has gotten thrown out to the news and the media and all of that stuff. And by no means are we defending him and what he did. When you've got 160 breeding dogs, that's not cool. That's a mill. Right. That's a mill. But I do think...
But the conditions were not what you would think.
The conditions
That's where
were not
it gets shady for me. It's like, okay, I agree. I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah.
But I've seen way freaking worse with way less.
Yeah.
So it's like, what,
To me, the bigger problem, and puppy mills are a huge problem. Overbreeding is a huge problem. Breeding and selling of these mixed breed dogs is a huge problem. And specifically in Iowa, and we talked about this we talked about this last time, in that Iowa has such a huge boom of doodles, right? That is resulting in a lot of trouble and trauma for the rescues and the people, and it's all a trickle-down thing. It's a real big deal.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm going to take a quick aside.
Okay.
Sorry about all of our gabbing the last episode.
Oh, yeah.
We had our favorite groomers on, and we had such a good time while we were here. We didn't think about what it would sound like to everybody else later, and we really did talk all over each other. So I'm glad you're sticking with us if you're listening again. We didn't even make it through the episode. We're like, my God, we are annoying. But we love Heaven and we love Bree, and we are so happy that they came, and we'll have them again, but we'll have a little bit better agenda so that we're not talking all over each other. But anyway.
Everybody just got so excited,
which
is understandable.
Jazzed. Yeah, who wouldn't?
Right.
Really excited. But anyway, I digress. But the breeding thing, I'm never going to be okay with somebody that has 160 dogs on premises.
No, I just wanted to
state that he was not the monster per se. That
I think things got a little skewed, and
for the PR of it,
for the clicks.
Yeah. For the clicks, for the donations, all the things.
Yeah.
But I'm very thankful that we were actually able to close that breeder down.
Yeah, to be there at the end and see it through.
Yeah, I'm happy that, it's not happening anymore. I think there was a lot of stuff happening there that was not good, but I do think that probably a lot of people got their best friend from him too.
Yep.
So,
agreed.
yeah.
We got fair coming up.
That's right. And so we may have a little bit of a weird release schedule. I'm not sure yet. We haven't talked about our recording, but I wanted to just note that I do work out at the fairgrounds every day of the fair, probably there till midnight after I'm done. And so you can't be finding me in the month of August. Okay. But I thought about this. There's all kinds of things for you to do as a dog lover at the fair. Mm-hmm. So I looked up some different things, and on August 14th, which happens to be my birthday, Holly, tell us about what's happening that day.
That is the Stock Dog Trials, and that's held over, it's on the south side, the southeast side, the Bob and Deb Pulver Outdoor Arena. So it's in between there's like a show cattle barn, and I think it's the pork. They're all mixed up now. You know, when I was a kid, there was the sheep barn, there was the horse barn, there was the cattle barn, and that was it.
Pavilions and arenas now.
Now they're all kind of mixed in there. Yeah. But anyway, it's down there on the southeast side. It's a great time. They do the cattle dogs in the morning and the sheep dogs in the afternoon.
That's so cool.
And my dad.
It's from 8:30 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m.
Yeah, and it usually goes past 3. But
yeah.
Just depending on how many dogs are running and how many get signed up and how the day flows. But
so what do they do in a stock dog trial?
Okay, so I don't know much about the cattle, but obviously the sheep I know a bit about. They'll run them through a course. So my dad and my brother and my 2 nephews will be back in the pen with the sheep, and you put out.
Do they bring the sheep?
No, the sheep come from another.
Okay.
Another person.
They're just
a friend of ours.
Kickers.
And Don Hummel oversees the stock dog trials, and he coordinates all of this. But anyway, Dad and the kids, they put the sheep out in the arena, and Dad kind of sets them up, and his dog helps, Ness. Mm-hmm. And then the handler, it's like Babe. It's just like Babe.
Except for no pigs. It's
Except
really disappointing.
With dogs. Right.
No, it's not disappointing because there's dogs. You done good, pig. Yeah.
That'll do, pig.
That'll do, pig. That'll do. I want to see it. I'm excited. And I've never made it down there, and I hope that I'm not busy. So I work up in the art building, which is not anywhere. I can't even look out the window.
It's not that far, really, honestly, because I walked up there the last year. But if you come at the right time, I'm just going to give you a little secret here. I make pie. I used to submit a pie at the state fair every year, and I got 3rd place with my apple pie one year.
Ooh.
But I don't compete anymore. That's a whole nother story. There's like a pie mafia in the whole Iowa State Fair business.
Oh my gosh! So my cousin has won before. Is she in the mafia?
I don't know.
I'm gonna ask.
Anyway, so instead of taking them,
she shouldn't tell you if she is.
That's true.
Right.
We do have our own mafia, but it's about dogs. Pies. That's a whole nother level.
So instead of taking the pies to competition, I take them to the guys that work the pens, and so after we're all done, we all sit around and have pie.
Hall, come over. I have a yard full of apple trees that are ready to be picked. You want fresh apples? You have apple trees.
No. Well, I have apple trees, but apple pies really are a labor of love. I mean, any pie is really labor of love.
These are good apples, like proven apples for apple. If
I do a nice triple berry.
Wants apples, I will give my address out to the internet. I don't care. Come get them. My uncle told me that you could give the apples that have like fallen, and then like have people that have like goats and stuff get the apples. You guys,
for sure.
I fill up
chickens.
So you know, like the city garbage bins?
Yeah.
I fill up 3 of those at minimum a year with apples and just throw them away.
Have you considered making something out of them, like apple butter, apple sauce, or?
Have I considered using my kitchen for what it's made for ever? No.
She's got shoes in her oven, like Carrie Bradshaw.
Yeah. That's where I store my sweaters. No, I can't. No.
So, oh my gosh, where are we at?
I don't know.
So anyway, it's timed, and they get nicked for points and blah blah blah, and then
I gotta see this. I love a working dog, and we oftentimes get dogs in that are working breed dogs that don't get to experience like what they were built for.
Right.
So it's really cool to see when that happens.
Do you remember Ziggy came in and we thought he was what's that? A Kelpie.
A Kelpie.
Yeah. And so
we took him out.
Tracy and Johnny brought him out to the farm to see the sheep, and he was like,
he wasn't cut out for that.
I don't know what to do with my paws.
I don't know what to do. Yeah.
Okay, what else is going on at the fair?
So then at the Anne and Bill Riley stage on August 9th, 12th, 14th, 16th, so they have multiple demonstrations. It's about an hour long. The Iowa State Patrol brings out their canine, what are they called? Canine officers or whatever. The dogs. The dogs.
Yeah,
the
what do
working
they call
police
those?
dogs. They call it the.
No, I know what you mean. There's a name they use for them. Anyway.
Yes. So the canine cops or whatever come out with their working dogs, usually like German Shepherds and things. Handlers, and they do a demonstration for about an hour. So you can go sit down, enjoy your lunch from 11 to noon, and watch the canine demonstration at the Bill Riley stage. And
then
then
how to hide your edibles.
in a coffee tin, right? With covered in coffee. That's what used to be the thing.
I wouldn't know.
No, I have no idea. We don't adopt out drug dogs. We'll just say that. So on Sunday, August 19th, there are a few things which I've never caught
18th.
Excuse me. Thank you. August 18th on that Sunday. There's a few things that every year I see these on the schedule and I always forget to go. So I've got them written down. There's a dog show from 9 to 2 at the Livestock Pavilion. And kind of in between there, they also do at the same time a 4-H dog show. So I think there's like two things going on. Not exactly sure, but these are all at the Livestock Pavilion. And then there's a dog agility demonstration from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And if you've never seen the dog agility in real life, it is so cool. And the dogs get so jazzed. They love it. I cannot imagine one of my dogs even thinking about doing that.
I can see if there was like a water feature, maybe.
Yes, if there was, Bojangles, if there was a dog water lover demonstration, which a lot of people do crowd around to watch him play in the water. So,
off topic, but my nephew built this.
I saw it. It's so cool.
Out of horseshoes, and he got selected to go to the state fair with it.
It's amazing.
So it's going to be at the state fair.
It's a giant cactus made out of horseshoes, which is hard to imagine.
He welded them all together.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so we're really...
That's the things at the fair.
Drumming along. Yeah, so check out the fair. If you're out there and you know me, say hi. I'll probably be in the cultural building hanging out with the art, which we have a lot of dog art this year. I don't know, my worlds are colliding. We had like 5 or 6 entries that were dog portraits, so that was cool.
Love that.
Speaking of doodles...
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about... She doesn't like it when I call anybody else the Doodle Queen, so let's call her the Doodle Queen.
Well, how could you call anybody else the Doodle Queen? She's it. There's only one.
The one Doodle Queen.
Marissa's giving her a run for her money, though.
I know. Well, I think I've called Marissa the Doodle Queen, and she was like, hey, wait a minute. What do you mean? But one of my very closest, dearest friends, I can't believe she's gotten in deep as she has. She talked about fostering dogs in her Christmas card. That's how far into the mafia she is. Stacy Cooper, her husband Caleb, and her son Calvin are all the Doodle Haven, whatever you want to call it.
I don't even have to ask when we get doodles in. Like when I made
She gets mad if she missed the post. She's like, wait, you had a doodle and you didn't tell me?
When I made the post in Mafia, like that was my first tag, Stacy. Like, you're in, right? Mm-hmm. Yep.
They have one resident doodle named Ruby who came rip-roaring into their household as an absolute nightmare. And I said, I told you, you're not going to like this. Doodles are crazy. You're not going to love it. And then she grew on me and she settled in, and she's really a very sweet dog, and she gets really excited when Aunt Kara comes over to visit. And Ruby has been teaching all of the doodles so far, 14 of them.
Oh my God.
That have come in.
Can you even imagine?
No.
I had that one doodle in my possession for like an hour, and I'm like,
I know. She's like, why do you guys always talk so bad about doodles? I'm like, because we're not your type of crazy. We are a different type of crazy. You are a specific doodle type of crazy, and that's not what we are, and that's okay. It takes all kinds.
I'm always shocked to learn that the poodle was once the like smartest or best hunting breed ever. And I'm like,
poodles were like
that obviously didn't make it into the mix.
Yeah, the intelligent was, and that was one of the big draws, right? They're saying like, oh, you get the derpy, lovey lab, and then you get the smart doodle, and then the good hair from the poodle, and I'm like, I think the smart
This
part
ain't
got...
Build-A-Bitch. You can't pick and choose.
Nope, you can't. And sometimes there's doodles like Ruby who are very smart and very kind and very intuitive and end up okay. But they all have at least one hot minute of crazy. But, yeah, so she has taken in owner surrenders, multiple breeder releases. She's taken in little poodles, big doodles. Now she has an almost 100-pound doodle.
Oh my God, that thing's a horse.
He's huge, but they love him. They say he's great. And actually, he helped the new doodle that came in to settle in, and they're best friends right now. So it's like, can we do... She texted me the other day. She's like, do you think we could do a 2-for-1 situation and they could take... They could take the giant horse doodle and then they get the speckly doodle like as a package deal.
Maybe we could buy them a little cart for them to pull.
Yeah, something.
Together.
They would draw a crowd in a parade, you know. But yeah, they've taken everything from like the sweetest, kindest, straight out of the box, very good dog that just didn't work out in their house to the most terrified breeder dog that didn't even know what grass was, and they have made all of those dogs feel safe, comfortable, and adoptable.
Yeah. And she's always, paws up.
Yeah. Yeah.
For doodles.
Yeah.
Has she taken in other things other than doodles?
She has taken one. It was a lab mix that was supposed to be mixed with some sort of poodle, I think, and it was a puppy. And
one of them deals.
But she has actually very severe allergies.
That's right.
And if she comes into my house, like if I host a book club, which
forget about it.
Yeah, she's got a few minutes, and then she's like, I gotta go. So
yeah, she did take a schnauzer.
Yeah, so schnauzers they have hair, not fur.
Paper,
so
right.
Yeah. But then she had like a puppy.
A Wheaton Terrier poodle.
Yeah.
Poodle.
Yeah.
So she started, her first foster was, oh God, that Bindi Irwin.
That was the one
we
that
really did her dirty, didn't we?
That was her first one, and
she's still doing it.
And that one was not a poodle or doodle. I think she just felt like she needed to help me because she's like, that's my best friend. I gotta help. And then she got Bindi Irwin, who was a nightmare.
God, Stacey, thanks for sticking in there, man.
An Aussie door, and
I still have nightmares about that dog.
Yeah.
So that was January of 2023. So they've been with us for a year and a half, over a year and a half.
Long enough to make the Christmas card.
I always wanted to be that kind of person that sent out Christmas cards.
She is that kind of person. She's
never
so good.
Happens.
Yeah.
I have the best of intentions. I have the cards. Got the envelopes.
You like to mail stuff.
Got the stamps. Love mail. Nope.
Can't do it.
They're just never. What am I going to put in there?
Well, you got a lot to put in there this year. A real pup date.
Oh, my God. Everybody can follow my life. I do a freaking podcast. Just listen to the podcast. You're caught up.
Here it is.
Just do a Christmas episode.
There we go. Done. Ooh, you know those cards that you open and it makes noise?
Yeah.
There you go.
What's ours going to say?
Well, how long can they be if you could just record a podcast on one of the cards and
Freaking
do a
listen.
Christmas episode?
Merry Christmas. Sit down.
Let me read you a story. A Christmas story.
Just send them a QR code.
There it is.
Okay.
To the
That
podcast.
sounds
They
cheaper.
open the envelope and it's just a QR code. Like, what is this? They scan it, boom, straight to your Christmas
Our voices
episode.
just straight to their ears.
I can see my dad
Screaming at them about doodles.
My dad receiving a QR code.
Oh, we went to the movies the other night. We're getting long. But we went to the movies the other night, and you have to order off the QR code, right?
I know you hate that shit too.
I really do.
I love it.
Hate it.
I don't like interacting with people.
I do. And first of all, we're at a very scary horror film.
Which one?
Longlegs. It's not a film you should take a small child to. Just so you know, Dad. Don't take a small
I don't
child.
think you should take a small child to any movie, but all right.
True. This woman comes in and like, I wish I have to explain her attire to really give the full
Was she wearing a
picture.
muumuu?
Yes, but
Stop.
yes, it was in the front a muumuu, but in the back full party. It had strippy strappies all across the back, like it was like choo, and it went down low, and I was like, "Geez!" And she was clearly the grandmother.
To a movie.
A grandmother in this strippy
Wow.
strappy. You know. So they came in late. We go to Flick's Brew House because it's just down the block from my house, and we've already ordered our food. We're eating our food. You're supposed to get there a half an hour early so you can get your food. Movie starts. They get there right before the movie starts. She has no idea, like, how the world works. Okay. She thinks she's looking hotty-totty, and she's got her little tiny grandson getting ready to go to Long Legs, which is a movie about the devil causing you to murder your whole family. That's quite literally the premise of the movie.
Why are you going to watch this?
Because we like horror films.
Cam,
she loves horror films.
Are you safe?
She is.
Cam,
She's the one that wanted to go. Oh, gosh.
blink twice if you're in danger.
I'm in danger. She's the one that begs to go. She's got a Nightmare on Elm Street poster in her room. Okay, come on. Anyway.
I want to go see that Fly Me to the Moon.
I haven't heard of that one.
Really?
Yeah. I want to go see the Twisters one because I've got some good nostalgia there.
Who is that actor? Because he's kind of cute.
Bill Paxton, and he died, which is really sad. I had a huge crush on Bill Paxton.
No, not that one. The one that's in Twisters.
Bill Paxton.
The
new one.
Yeah, the reason all women want to go see the remake.
I don't even know who's in the old one. I thought Bill Paxton was hot before he died in the old one. I don't know who's in the new one. I haven't seen it yet. All I've seen is this horror film that has Nicolas Cage as the creepy guy who's
that's ironic.
Helping kill families. Okay, so anyway,
Tyler Owens.
All of this to say, there's a QR code for her to order, and the waitress points her towards the QR code, and over again, she opens up her camera, not like that. She goes to the camera and she opens it, and then she goes like this. puts the forward-facing camera down. And the girl's like, no, use your camera. And she's like, I am. And then down again. And Cameron is like beside her. She's beside herself because she wants to help, but also we're dying because we've got Moo in the front, party in the back, little kids, scary movie, forward-facing camera. I can't even focus on the film. Don't ask me what it was about. There was a lot that happened after that.
Glenn Powell is in that. It's in that movie.
Now look up Bill Paxton and tell me he's not more.
Listen, don't tell me.
That's your type anyhow. Look at. Not now, not then.
Is he dead for real?
Yeah, he died.
So for those of you that can't see, they are now sharing pictures of guys on their laptops.
Bill Paxton has a way more dreamy personality, and his smile is definitely like to die for. He was so cute. He died in 2017, though. So we're both out of luck.
We got cows.
Kevin Costner is still alive, though, and I am in
here
the lineup.
For it.
I'm in the lineup. Yeah. Anyway. Revert back. Okay. I have a heart dog story to tell, and I can do it. And without bungling it up, I think. I broke it into paragraphs. Follow along, because I might need reprieve. This came from Tracy, as in Tracy of Johnny and Tracy, the famous dynamic duo, also Doodle lovers. Tucker. So she says, it all started last year in 2023. Our dog, Maggie, who was Johnny's heart dog, who we did a horrible job of telling his story, but he was one of our heart dogs that we've talked about. He had been diagnosed with cancer. Or she had been diagnosed with cancer. They tried treatment, had done surgery, and it kept coming back. She says, I highly suggest to insure all of your dogs. It saved them a lot of money. The bills were insurmountable, and then ended up being more than $8,000 just trying to save her.
Jesus.
Obviously, it didn't happen, but because of the insurance, they were able to try and get a little more time with her. They made the difficult decision to let her go, and surrounded by her sister, Cardi B, who we love, that mean ween. They were a mess, and they were crying, walking around for weeks, and they didn't know if they'd ever be able to pull it back together. Her aunt came across a dog at her aunt's grooming shop, someone else's grooming shop. I am going to bungle this up. The groomer that her aunt goes to told her that there was a dog that had been abandoned twice there at the grooming shop. She wanted to help, but didn't have space. Her aunt said she'd take him and she would have a home for him. She brought him home to Tracy's mom's house. Mom took one look at the boy and said, nope, that dog belongs to my daughter and grandkids. So Tracy's sitting at home, minding her own business, has no idea what's happening.
Tracy's never minding her own business.
She's minding everybody else's business, looking out the window, telling everybody what's going on, like so-and-so pulled into Casey's, whatnot, you know. And she saw her mom's car pull up, and out jumps this enormous Doodle, who's a huge floof. And she was so excited for her mom. She was like, Mom, you got a new dog. He's so cute. I love him. And Mom goes, well, I thought maybe he could live with you guys. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, gosh, I don't know. I got to talk to Johnny. She's like, I already talked to Johnny. It's fine. You just,
Like, Johnny's not going to be up for that. Johnny is down for crazy town.
Johnny is the only non-grumpy husband we have here in this rescue, and he says yes every time. So it all comes together. She's bawling her eyes out. The huge dog is there, mopping up all of her tears, and he was 18 months old. He's now 2. He's a sheepadoodle, and they named him Tucker. She says, is the light of her life, apple of her eye, and he had already had a really rough life. He's been abandoned twice, but you wouldn't know it because he's just dumb happy. But he's not dumb. He's very smart.
That dog is on a better grooming schedule than I am.
Yeah. She's like, oh my gosh, Tucker needs groomed. And I'm like, where? What do you mean? Like,
she brushes this
he's got
dog
a high and tight.
She is a groomer's dream.
Yeah. They pay for that groomer's vacations every year, I'm pretty sure. So he's very friendly, very well behaved, and stupid smart. And they taught him how to bow for treats in like 5 minutes. And he does the bike riding with Dad. He's very smart.
I'm still waiting on GoPro video of that,
I know.
by the way.
Yeah, we provided the camera, didn't we? We got to see this happen. He loves ice, kids, balls, hugs, all the things that a dog should love. And being abandoned twice did not stop him from being just the perfect dog. And she has always advocated for rescues, but had never really gotten involved. But after Tucker came along, they had Cardi B, who was technically her dog, and Johnny was just really aching for another dog, but she wasn't quite ready yet. So she came across Oh My Dog Rescue, and this was another kind of a blind connection, because did you know them before this? I didn't know them before this. And they said, hey, there's an abandoned dog in the area that needs a foster. I can help. So she jumped online, filled out the forms, and we're like, cool, great. Welcome to the mafia.
Right.
And we dropped off for their very first foster, Ziggy. And
this is going to be a one and done.
Yeah. She was like, holy shit. What did we get into? So this was like, we don't even know what this dog was. Some sort of herding breed dog that didn't know how to herd. He needed a lot of work, a lot of love. He got adopted out one time and returned because he had behavioral issues. And eventually they did find the perfect dad for him. And that's how they got hooked on rescue. So she says, here we are and this is a while back. So they're over a year now, more than 13 dogs now, because I've waited a little while to share this. So they've done 13, 14, 15, probably 16 by now. And they loved every baby that's come through the door, even the tough ones, like the little breeder releases. And they say rescue is our life now, and it wouldn't be any life without rescue. So they are very sweet and thank us. And we have a really great group chat going with the 4 of us that makes me laugh every time it pops up.
She's really good with names too. She's on a female sitcom wife kick.
Mom. Yeah. And so the latest
Peggy
Doodle,
Bundy, Kitty Foreman.
Is the newest one.
What is Homer Simpson's wife's name? Marge.
Yeah.
Do you know how long I've been trying to think of that?
You just had to say it out loud.
Not that I don't have Google right here in my palm of my hand. So they've been with us since July 13th of last year. So over a year now.
Yeah.
And they're up to 16.
16. That's what I thought.
Well done. And Dale.
Damn it, Dale.
So that was
little pit
King
bull.
of the Hill.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta love those old sitcom shows. But
God,
anyway, so Tucker is her heart dog, and you can tell it when you see her with that dog. They're just madly in love, and he is one of the few doodles I will say is in my good graces. Huh? I like that dog. And she just leaves us with the tidbit of get that doggy insurance, which we're going to talk about on a future episode of what that means and what that looks like. But she says it's worth it to protect your heart dogs. So.
Yeah. I mean, teeing you up here.
Yeah. Oh, stop. I wasn't ready.
You really need doggy vet insurance because at the vet, man.
Yeah. What happens? I need you to start being a joke teller. Could you do it?
These prices are hitting the roof.
I like it better when you do it.
I teed you up twice. God. Take a freaking hint, man.
I can't unless it's in my brain.
Oh, God, I love it. All right, that's enough of our ramblings.
Yes, on our next toy episode, we're going to talk a lot about those prices that hit the
money.
How we keep this rescue going, what it takes to make it happen, why we have to charge adoption fees, what we do to fundraise, all the things. We're going to talk about that on our toy episode. But until then, we'll continue to figure it out. Bye.
Oh my dog. Dog. Oh my dog. Dog. Oh my dog.
What I mean when I see, what I see, what I feel, when I dream, when I be, I'm a freak. What up? Oh, what up? Everybody look at me when I'm free, when I feel, what I see, when I do it, I'm a freak.